Welcome back to my Fire Emblem 6P me run. Oh god. This chapter sucks, man. I hate this chapter. You know, the last chapter we played, chapter 14, that chapter's pretty infamous for being kind of aggravating to play, kind of annoying, very annoying. There's a lot of mechanics that went into that map being very frustrating to play, but this map, even after having just played chapter 14, I found this map to be way more unbearable. Whereas in the last chapter I said I wasn't really sure if it was badly designed, just that it was annoying. I'm gonna pretty confidently say this chapter is badly designed. It's just no fun. So this is the first part of the chapter that's no fun. The boss has a bolting tome, and the sage below him has a bolting tome. And basically from the moment you step out of the starter little island there, you're in range of the boss and the sage that has a bolting. These guys can one-hit KO certain units on my squad. I know for a fact the boss can one-hit KO Sue. He almost one-hit KOs Roy. And I'm sure if you were playing a normal run and you had other weak characters like a dancer, that they would get one-hit KO as well. In addition, we just saw another thing happen. Part of the pathway down just disintegrated. It just sunk into the water. It's gone and we can't walk on it now. This is such an annoying feature. To play around this was just the worst time. I didn't have any fun playing this map, I gotta be completely honest with you. Even more so than chapter 4, chapter 7 and chapter 14 combined, this chapter was just not fun. Thank God that it was relatively short in comparison to other chapters. So you see there, Roy almost died in one hit from that boss's bolting. I'll never complain about an HP level up on Roy ever again, because he almost didn't live that, and that would have been really unfortunate if he didn't live that. Rutger will take care of that Devil Axe Berserker right there. He's kinda scary, but it's a Devil Axe, so not that scary. Would have been much scarier if it was a Killer Axe or something like that. And Roy did have a chance of death on that turn, but of course, as we know by now, hand axes in FE6 will never hit anything, especially if they have weapon triangle disadvantage. Another thing that makes this map annoying is all the physic staves. The sage with the bolting also has a physic, there is a monk right here with a physic, and there's a druid with a physic, which we might even highlight, apparently not, no. But there's a druid with a physic, and there's another druid with an eclipse tome. And I kid you not, he serves no purpose other than to be bait for a very specific scenario that we'll see soon. As for what's happening right now, it's basically something that we're used to seeing. My two paladins will barge on ahead and take care of all the enemies, while the rest of my army struggles to keep up, struggles to be relevant, with very few exceptions. Miletti's kind of doing her own thing, or she will eventually. Rutger's doing his own thing, taking care of the flank. But everyone else is kind of garbage. Ward there has very pathetic hit rates against that pirate. I really wanted to kill him, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Fortunately for me, Sue's going to be able to get a kill here, and that just means I can block off this guy with Ward. I don't really care if I don't kill him this turn. I don't need to kill him. Now that that other mercenary is dead. It is unfortunate that he gets doubled though. And unfortunately I cannot drop Bors with Miletti. Bors is too fat and Miletti can't pick him up and put him down again. Makes me wonder how this giant wyvern can't handle lifting an armor knight, but Sue's wimpy little horse can, but I guess I won't question it. I have no idea why this guy decides to attack Lance over Ward. That's just some wonky targeting if you ask me. Maybe he does more damage in one hit, who knows. Either way, Sue's going to get targeted there, which is fine because Sue can retaliate. And in general, we've got just a bit of a choke point forming here, which I really want to break, because part of this map is getting through it as quickly as possible, since every single turn the paths will continue to disintegrate, and once your units are in the water and they are not directly adjacent to a path tile, they are stuck. You best hope that you have a flyer that can pick them up, because if you don't, tough luck, buddy. They're probably going to be there for the rest of the map. They may as well be dead. In fact, this particular turn, you can see the druid that's just at the bottom of the screen right now. He is the Eclipse Druid, so he's not a threat whatsoever. He will never hit anything in his life. He will never hit anything to save his life. But he's in the perfect spot right now, where if you were able to move, say, a paladin ahead to attempt to kill him this turn, you'd get stuck, because at the end of this turn, a giant patch of water around him is just going to form over the path tiles. Decent level up from Milady there. Unbeknownst to me at the time, she actually just capped strength, I believe. So as I was saying, yes, with the druid, it's very tempting to go down and kill him right now, especially because he's such a free kill with that Eclipse Tome. Don't do it. My Milady actually cannot pick up Lance or Marcus, so I had many previous runs where I would just completely forget about this patch of water coming up and blocking the path tiles, and I would just lose Marcus or Lance for the rest of the map, or at least until someone died, because I couldn't pick them out of the water. And the path tiles don't respawn, or they do, but it takes forever. I don't know if there's a pattern to it. I know that the initial few sinking path tiles do follow an order. They're the exact same every time, but after a certain point, I don't know if they become random. So you see there, the druid's in the middle of the water now. He's even more worthless than he was just a few seconds ago. He's just a really pathetic enemy. I am almost certain he was designed specifically as bait to get people trapped in that patch of water. I'm almost certain of it. This time I didn't fall for it, however. We'll get a Lance level up. HP, brilliant. That's another thing that pissed me off about this map. Not a fault of the map per se, but in previous runs of this map, I got some fantastic level ups. I got all the level ups that you dream of, you know. I got attack and speed and defense and HP out the arse, just all at the same time on everybody. But this particular run, of course, the run that's successful, garbage level ups. HP, skill, speed, luck. I mean, that one's pretty good. I'll give you that. That one's pretty good. But I got a bunch of garbage level ups, I swear. We're just seeing the tip of the iceberg here with Lance's HP, although we should be pretty used to HP by now. I just at that moment realized that I put a 13 HP Walt in front of that guy, in front of that pirate who can move in front of him and just bash his face in with an axe. So I had to cover that up with Milady. Just a little band-aid fix right there, making sure nothing bad happened to my boy Walt. And Rutger will be taking care of the flank, as he does. Very reliable. Now the initial plan with this map was to just have Lance rush the boss and try to kill him with a killer Lance. It almost worked once, but Lance in classic fashion just doesn't crit ever. I don't know what it is with this guy, but he just doesn't get critical hits when I need him to. Sue, I think, had a chance of death that turn, which is unfortunate, or whatever. And Walt will get a nice little crit there, continue to be useful. So yes, as I was saying, the plan initially was to just have Lance rush the boss and crit him to death, and then, I don't know, send Milady with Roy in her pocket up to the throne so that Roy could conquer. And it almost worked once, it almost worked, but unfortunately, it didn't. So instead what ended up happening this run is that I took too long to get there. You can see already that the path is basically eroded. There's just a 1 tile wide walkthrough to that middle part of the map. And soon enough the pathway to the boss island is going to disappear as well, leaving most of my units shit out of luck. Just this chapter is basically just, I hope you brought a lot of flyers in a nutshell. And you know, that's not really a problem for anyone who's playing the game normally. But for me, who only has 1 flyer, who can't lift any of his heavy-hitting, hard-working paladins, it's kind of a problem. It's kind of a problem that just the pathways to everywhere disappear. Boar's just being brilliantly useful there and not doing anything at all. I'm gonna have to enlist the aid of Walt here. Something I never like to do, of course. But luckily Milady is actually pretty reliably killing these guys. She does a lot of damage, and with that speed wings I gave her, she's decently capable of doubling as well. And Lance should have no troubles dispatching of this already weakened archer. So now our pathway to the boss is complete. I wasn't afraid of putting Milady in front of this guy, of course, because he just has an Eclipse tome. He doesn't have any other tomes, meaning he doesn't have any tomes at all. Eclipse will never hit ever. Fortunately, one of those pirates that are going after Rutger has a hand axe, so I can't kill them both on this turn, but one of them will die. This guy, in fact, is going to kick the bucket right now, but the other one's gonna, you know, hold on to his life for another turn or two. Just waste our time, really. And speaking of wasting time, these physics staves were so annoying. I hate them. I hated these physics staves. They just heal each other. They just heal each other continuously. I hope you can one-round KO enemies on this map, because if you can't, enjoy having them be back to full health at the end of the turn. Speaking of full health, this guy has a Nosferatu tome, and that's terrifying. Nosferatu is really scary in this game. I mean, it's a scary tome in general, typically. But for my units in particular, almost none of them have good res, so I decided that the best course of action would be to just have Lance take the hit on enemy phase so that the druid doesn't heal anything up, and then just to kill him on player phase with whoever I can. Lilina will get a nice healing on Walt here. Walt was a bit weak. Unfortunately, despite the fact that we just promoted Saul, I can't bring him to this map. I don't have enough deployment slots, and he is at the bottom of the deployment list. Very unfortunate. I would have liked to see him do some work or do something. But it was not to be. He'll join us in future chapters. And speaking of things that I wish we had, the Warp Staff would have trivialized this map. Absolutely trivialized this map. I mean, I guess it wouldn't have for me, now that I think about it, because I don't think Lilina's staff rank is high enough to be able to use it. I would have needed Saul to be able to use the Warp Staff. But in a typical run, the Warp Staff just trivializes this map. You can basically warp your boss killer into the throne room on the first turn and just have the boss die to a crit or something, have Rutger smack their face in while they've still got a bolting tome on and they can't actually retaliate. And then you win. Then you win the chapter in like 3 turns. But I don't have a Warp Staff. I don't actually have anyone who can use a Warp Staff that I could have brought to the chapter anyway. And this guy, this Nosferatu guy, is annoyingly still alive. Yeah, this chapter, despite being one of the quicker chapters in the run so far, it still took longer than I wanted it to. And of course, it felt like it took forever. Loading this chapter into Sony Vegas, I thought that it was going to be like half an hour, 40 minutes. It turned out to be quite a bit less than that. But you can see here, we're basically halfway through the video, but in terms of the map, it's mostly already over. It's just the fact that we can't bloody move that's really getting us done. It's the fact that we can't move, and we have to waste all the boltings. Otherwise, I just don't trust that my boss killers will live. I certainly don't trust that Milady will be able to bring anyone over there. And of course, we've seen how the boss treats Roy with his bolting. Roy dies in almost one hit. So of course, with 2 of them, that's a very dead Roy. Which is specifically why I'm not moving any further ahead. I know that the bolting sage reaches fairly far down into this little middle pocket island we've got here. These wyverns are so goddamn bulky, I swear. It's a good thing we have 2 archers, right? Haha. Well, speaking of a good thing, don't you just love it when all your units get stranded in the middle of an ocean? Isn't that just fantastic? Look at this. Look how many units there are just stuck. No warning. No chance of escape. Right here, I'm just face palming. That's why I wasn't moving. I was just thinking, are you serious right now? Are you kidding me? So I've got like 4 units that can actually move right now. I've got Lilina, Marcus, and Lance who are already on land. I've got Ward who can step onto land because he's close enough. And I've got Rutger being carried by Milady who can also get back to land. So very few units that can actually do anything right now. The rest of them are just stuck. There is nothing I can do. And if Milady can't pick them up, tough shit. They're getting stuck there for as long as the game wants them to be stuck there. For as long as it will take for a path to come up that they can stand on. Absolutely garbage. Like, Boars, he wasn't going to do anything anyway. But now he's extra not going to do anything because he can't even leave the ocean. It makes you wonder how they're not drowning if the water is so deep that they can't even move in it. But, I mean, hey, I'm not going to question it too much. Look, it's just very frustrating design. I really don't like it at all. I know you can clear this map in way more efficient ways, but I just don't have them available to me right now. And that little bit of path is going to pop up just to taunt me. That path actually ends up being a bane rather than a boon, which we'll see in a few turns time from here. I decided we're going to have units like Lance and Marcus take the front lines and take the brunt of the long-range tomes just because they have the HP to be able to handle it. Marcus in particular has the res. I think Lance's res is actually pretty poor. Nice crit from Milady there, and from Lance earlier I may as well mention. And she will get plus HP plus skill. In hindsight, she was strength capped by this point, so it's not really a surprise she didn't get strength. But, you know, getting speed would have been nice. Getting defense would have been nice. Something like that. Yeah, I was gonna send Ward up to that Wyvern on the right, and whoever else is there as well. I think it's like a fighter or something. There might even be 2 Wyverns. I think there's 2 Wyverns. But of course, the game says, nah, you thought you were going to do something clever? No, sorry. We're just going to remove the path that you're currently on so that Ward physically cannot reach the part of the map that you want him to get to. But we'll allow the rest of your units to finally step on land. You know, I don't know how Boars didn't just sink to the bottom of whatever water we've got here. I don't know how Sue's horse isn't dying. It makes me think, like, this water must be shallow enough for a horse to be able to, like, walk in it, right? So why can't the rest of my army just walk through it, you know? It just makes me think. Now, it would make sense, like, if the horse isn't drowning, surely the rest of them wouldn't either. But I don't think IS was thinking very much when they made this map, to be honest. And so I'm going to not think very much either. Unfortunately, despite the fact that Sue's horse can indeed walk through that patch of water there, Roy is just too short. He must be a bit of a manlet. I don't actually know how tall Roy is. I think he's like 12 or something anyway, so I should give him a bit of a break. But he's stuck on that part of the map now because I decided to get him off the water onto land. I wanted to be nice to him, but it just led to him having his time wasted even further, which is basically just this map in a nutshell. It's a time waster. You see here the path to the boss has already been eradicated from in front of us. At this point, the only way to the boss is with a flyer. If you don't have someone over there already, at this very point in time, the only way over there is with a flyer that can either carry someone with her or just go on their own. But I'm not going to send Milady into the range of 2 bolting mages because she will die. She's much better, she spends her time much better killing that Wyvern, getting a decent amount of XP as well. Unfortunately, Walt doesn't double this guy. This guy is surprisingly fast for some reason. I don't really know why. And he also has 2 range, which is also really annoying. So I can't bait him right next to me to kill him. Does he have 2 range? One of them has 2 range. That guy has 2 range. A lot of these guys have 2 range. Honestly, IS just loves to chuck 2 range on all the enemies, all the hand axe guys, all the pirates, all the brigands. Just in case dealing with them wasn't annoying enough. Now they can all attack you from 2 range. Brilliant. Yeah, that guy does have 2 range, so he's just going to attack Rutger from where he is, not move forward, and I'll get nothing done. But that's okay, because getting nothing done is basically the name of the game at this point. I am just wasting the long-range tomes as of right now, because I need them to be gone before I send Milady carrying someone over there. Of course, the only person who she can carry right now that can actually deal with the boss is Rutger, which is fine. The initial plan was to send Lance, but it can be Rutger. Rutger does a solid job of it too. Here I just really wanted to kill this guy. You see, yeah, he had a 23% chance to hit this axe, and he still did. That's pretty terrifying. That almost kills the Lilina. But luckily, the boltings are both gone at this point, and the Lilina actually has a lot of res anyway, so it doesn't matter. So the map is sped up at this point because there's really not a whole lot left to it. The rest of my units after this last guy is dealt with are going to move on to the main island and contribute absolutely nothing. Ward will get a decent level up, I suppose. And from this point onwards, it's just the Rutger show. Rutger is going to get airdropped onto the boss island, and he's just going to tear through the rest of the enemies. Because no one else can get over there. I guess the intention of this map, of this design, is that it punishes you for playing slowly and forces you to go around the long way, so to the right all the way up to another island of enemies. Good level up from Lilina there, by the way. HP, very solid. Yeah, so the map forces you to go all the way around if you're too slow. But even that path will disintegrate, and that path doesn't exist the whole time. What are you supposed to do when there is no route to the boss? As I said, you best hope you have a flyer on your team, because if you don't, good fucking luck. You're just stuck on these islands until more paths come through the water. And again, I don't know if there's a specific specific rotation or pattern to it after a certain point. Yeah, so here I'm just going to send Rutger to deal with these mooks. The Sage doesn't actually move, so I'm fine to just leave Rutger wherever he is. Sage doesn't move at all, and that monk doesn't have any weapons. In addition, the goons on the top right island don't move either until they're aggroed, of course. But we have no reason to go over there because we do have Milady and Rutger's on the boss island. Just because this map needed to go on for a little bit longer, we're gonna have Rutger heal before he takes on the boss. I think he'd probably die if he took an Hellfire to the face at this point, so we just need to full heal him with Lilina. It's a good thing Lilina has so much goddamn magic and she can just full heal with a regular old heal staff. So yeah, we're nearing the end of the map at this point. At the end of the map we'll get Forblaze, which is a legendary weapon. Obviously we need all the legendary weapons from all the guidance chapters to get the good ending of the game, so this chapter was completely necessary. But I really don't have much else to say about it. Playing this chapter pissed me off, commentating this chapter pissed me off, and I don't really want to look at it anymore. We're going to crit the boss and kill him in one hit. Nice level up from Rutger here, not really, he doesn't get any stat that matters. And that's the chapter. Thanks for watching. I hope you had more fun watching it than I did playing, and I'll see you next time.